Our next guest is a multifaceted star with credentials in music videos, concert videography, modeling, theater acting, and most recently ASMR. His biggest dream is to be the talent, which means to get on the guest list anywhere he wants, give autographs, never take public transport, and work with his favorite artists from Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, to Lana Del Rey, and Addison Rae. Please welcome the talent, Mr. Christian Davis. Oh my god, that was such a sweet introduction, but hey, facts are facts, and I love that you used the term the talent, because truly I cannot and will not focus on just one thing, because why should I? If you have various talents, why not just explore them as much as you can? And it helps if you are also talented at them. Absolutely, it's such an honor to have you on this show so early in your journey. So we can say that we've been your supporters from day one. I wanted to ask, how does it feel to put the wheels into motion by yourself in hopes of people catching up? To be honest, I'm not the first one to do it. Charlie XCX comes to mind when I talk about this, because she has been making music since I was, God knows, since I was a teen, and only now the world is waking up to her. But she always believed in herself, and she made so many connections with people who later on became big as well. But to answer to your question, it feels like I'm pleading my case to a wall sometimes, because I've been making music videos for 9 years, and the highlight of those 9 years, I feel, has been Kim Petras replying to my tweet promoting the video for Gloss that I made. I always said that I'm doing this to build a portfolio so I can go out there proudly, but the past 5 years made me reconsider my passion, because don't know, I feel like I've put out my best work, and reconsidering my passion should not even be in the cards. That's so interesting. I guess it does trigger the inner saboteur to question whether you're good at something when years of work don't pay off as hoped. And whenever I think of this, I think of Charlie XCX and Addison Rae, who believed in themselves before the whole world believed in them, and look at them now being the it girls. So tell us about this new endeavor with ASMR. What started it? What is the thought process behind the content that you create, and where do you see it going? So the whole thing started after buying this amazing microphone just to have for different silly projects of mine. So I felt inspired to try to put myself out there without thinking too much of the outcome. Since I was a teenager, I've been making little vlogs and videos for my friends, but I was always overthinking about what would I do if I were to go public on YouTube or something, on TikTok. So the ASMR content is easing me into being more comfortable in public videos, and if people are enjoying it, then that's even better. And I want to eventually do TikTok lives as well, even though I have 15k followers. I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned. I just feel like time is running so fastly that I don't have time to sit down. And even preparing for this podcast, I did it in the club while having no signal, and waiting for Cosmic to come on stage. I do think the market is overly saturated, and you have to have a really tight niche that would somehow click with the audiences. Even ASMR is oversaturated with people doing all kinds of POVs and role plays. So doing this podcast together feels so insane. But I can only remember maybe Trisha Paytas and a handful of others doing something similar back in 2018, 2019. So I guess we're original, hopefully. I know. Even if you do want to explore an oversaturated niche like ASMR, at least mix up a few other niches so you can get something that's not really been seen on a larger scale. For instance, before I started, I wanted to do coffee gossip in ASMR, talking about dating and ranting, but I needed to get accustomed to the format to be able to form sentences and ideas for the videos I really wanted to make. I do agree that it's a good idea to start from somewhere and progress as you go along. So do you want to stick to ASMR, or at some point you'll break out of that? Well, I do want want to let my voice be heard instead of just whispering. But with using your voice comes the overthinking of what niche to adopt. So who knows? To be the talent, you kind of have to be part of the big two niches, which is music and film. Okay, so take me back to the beginning of being the talent. Where did it all start for you, and how did you progress? Well, I can't avoid the cliche of I've been doing this since I was a kid, but in essence, I have been making little music films and acting skits with my cousin ever since I was about maybe 11, even earlier. But my earliest memory of truly pursuing something in the public eye was when I was, I think, 15 or 16, and I joined a theater group where I would go after high school to different workshops, but quickly ended up being a stand-in for a guy who was not showing up for rehearsals. So the director of the play saw my devotion to always showing up. He gave me the part, which later ended up winning Best Male Performance at a national theater festival. The music video making I started because I needed to build a portfolio quickly so I could apply to universities abroad, but I had nothing to show. And because I didn't have a camera or a microphone, I felt limited until someone told me to just borrow a camera and stop finding excuses. And to this day, that is the best thing someone has told me, because I see so many people finding excuses for why they cannot start something, when in fact it's all self-doubt or just nerves. I didn't have a microphone, so I couldn't make short films. So I worked around my limitations, and I took a song by Rihanna called Desperado, and I made a music video which my friend starred in, and we used a borrowed camera, and the rest is history. So are you still acting, or what happened? Well, I stopped acting because I wanted more from life, and I moved to London to study film and then advertising. Obviously, moving to a big city like London, the competition is really tough, and it quickly slams in your face, and you start doubting whether you actually have talent or you just got lucky in a small town. I try not to think about this anymore, and I just pursue whatever opportunity I can find to just enjoy the experience rather than the result. And yeah, it's the climb after all. Anyway, but one thing I did not stop doing once I moved to London has been making music videos for pop songs I love, and I've been able to continue doing it thanks to my friends who were open to starring in my productions, and I know that one day it will all pay off. But until then, the show must go on. Well, like you said about enjoying the experience rather than the result, I saw that you walked in a runway and appeared in a magazine. What was that about? So that was a spur of the moment type of decision where I saw a different post either on Instagram or Facebook, and I just decided to DM or sign up. So for the magazine photo shoot, I messaged Sharon Del Torres because I saw that she was looking to expand her photography portfolio, and her style was very much what I was looking for, which is perfume campaign. And yeah, I absolutely loved working with her, and our pictures turned out sickening. So I'm glad that I trusted my gut and I messaged her. And for the fashion show, I got selected after submitting some form on Instagram. I don't even remember the specifics, but I committed to it, and I got to walk into Keka Fashion Shows, which is a Ukrainian brand by Konstantin Keka. So see, it's all about finding that one person to give you the opportunity to then snowball from there, or to at least build credentials to then try again. So what would be your dream collaborators? Let's break it down into sections, because obviously you have your fingers in many different pies. So, music videos. Well, my inner saboteur is telling me to only list the smaller artists who may somewhat be easier to work with, but I want to eliminate those self-doubts and truly look into the camera and put it into the universe to hopefully look back on fondly. So, I aspire to collaborate with Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Lana Del Rey, Addison Rae, and Slater. Okay, good names. What about fashion brands? Well, I must start with Versace, because I'm still mentally in 2012 when Gaga was Best Buy rice with Donatella, and they both served cunt to the highest level. And then I would say I would love to be in a Tom Ford and or Chanel campaign, but of course I'm welcoming all brands. And lastly, films. Oh, that's a tough one because I do want the acclaimed movies, but also what I grew up with, which is horror movies. I also have 4 Vampire Fangs. That would look so good in a vampire horror movie, and Nosferatu was so iconic and beautiful. Okay, let's think Oscar movies. What would be top of the list? Would you count The Substance? Because that is my all-time favorite, and it had the acclaim. If not, then the big winner, Poor Things, is also up my alley. I absolutely love how psychedelic that movie was. And what has been your favorite celebrity interaction that you've ever had? Because I know you've met lots. Well, I think meeting Tovlo or Tuvelu in Prague randomly and getting her to write my tattoo. We talked so much, and that show was one of a kind and full of deep cuts and bangers. I also look back on meeting Slater, who was so sweet, and she forgot I was among the first ones she met that day. So she came back to me asking if I want a picture, and I gave her my beats to sign. She was super sweet to everyone, which is something that you don't see celebrities meeting the audience as they're queuing up. Maybe at the end of the show afterwards outside, but no, she took the time to take pictures and talk to everybody outside. Okay, so what message do you have for people watching this, if you've been watching until now? So I would advise to really put together a list of things that you enjoy doing and explore every avenue that's closest to your circumstances. So any limitations you may have, open your mind to how you can work around them, and just start posting. Just start posting. Learn in the public eye. That's the best way to learn, in the public eye. And with that, Mr. Christian Davis, thank you for coming on my show. It was a pleasure to have you at the beginning of your determined journey, and hopefully we'll have you back. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I hope that one day I can come back like Billie Eilish does her usual yearly video diaries and update you on anything that I mentioned on your show. Well, tell the listeners where they can find you. Oh, how much time do you have? Well, you can find me at Christian Davis Productions on YouTube and Instagram, at Christian Davis Gigs on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, at ASMR Christian on YouTube and